Alright, let's take a look at the formative assessment that we took Friday. Go through the answers here real quick. First one, the law of demand assumes that as the price of a good increases, remember the law of demand is strictly talking about how consumers respond to price changes. As the price goes one direction, the quantity that consumers will purchase will go in the other direction. So looking at the answers, A, people recognize that its price may be higher in the future, so they buy now. That's going to be remember, a shifter of demand. Consumers' money income increases. Again, as a shifter of demand, we're looking at price change right now. Consumers tend to shift their purchases to relatively cheaper substitutes. That's going to be the correct answers. Remember, the law of demand holds true for those two effects, the income effect and the substitution effect. So this one will be C. Number 2, suppose you drink more tea because the price of coffee has increased. Which of the following best explains your action? Reading these, suppose you drink more tea because the price of coffee has increased. That's going to be the substitution effect. You're substituting a relatively cheaper good for the one that has increased in price. And number 3, studies show that the demand curve for peas has shifted. Which of the following explanations would you reject first? Well, looking for all of these, one that you can always remember when it comes to the demand curve for a good shifting or not shifting, if it's a price change, right? Remember, a price change will never shift the curve. So as I come down here and I scan these real quick, I see the price of peas has changed. That's going to be my first one that I reject, because the price change of peas won't change the curve. Remember, we'll just move along it. If the demand for corn has changed, that's going to change the price of corn. And that would be a related good. So that would be a price-related good, which is a shifter of demand. The income of consumers, we know, is a shifter of demand. And the price of string beans has changed. So that's another change in the price-related good. So all the other 3 would shift the demand curve. C would not. Number 4, if income rises and a good is inferior, then demand for that good will decrease. True or false? Well, remember, income, as income goes up, demand for normal goods goes up. More income, more demand. Inferior goes down, right? So as your income increases, your demand for normal goods, the stuff you would typically buy, as your income increases. Your inferior demand is going to decrease. Question says, as our income rises and a good is inferior, then demand for that good will decrease. Income goes up, demand for inferior decrease. That should be true. Number 5, a surplus of wheat is unlikely to result in any change in the price of wheat. Will result in an increase in the price of wheat. Well, remember, a surplus is when we have too much of something, right? The quantity supplied is greater than the quantity demanded, meaning our price is above equilibrium. We know, or should know, if price is above equilibrium and all markets gravitate towards equilibrium, that we're going to start to see downward pressure on price. So A is unlikely to result in any change in the price of wheat. Not going to work because we're going to see down pressure. If we have a surplus, price is already above equilibrium, so it's not going to increase the price. A surplus of wheat is impossible if the price of wheat is below equilibrium. Alright, this one looks to me to be the correct answer, because a surplus would not happen. For a surplus to happen, there's supply, there's demand, there's equilibrium. Right? For a surplus to happen, price has to be above. Right? At the price above, we come over and we hit the demand curve, and our quantity demanded is going to be here. We'll just say at 100. We'll come over, hit the supply curve, and the quantity supplied is going to be 300. 300 supplied, only 100 demanded. That here is a surplus. Below equilibrium, a surplus will be impossible. So that's going to be C. Number 6, if a surplus exists in the market for swimmer, an economist would predict that. All right, we just talked about surplus. What's going to happen? Producers will increase supply of swimmer. We know from the previous example that we're going to see downward pressure on price. So I would say A, the price of swimwear at retail outlets will begin to fall if we see a surplus. And number 7, economists emphasize the importance of equilibrium in markets because all buyers and sellers are better off at the equilibrium point. Okay. Well, trading can occur at any price. To me, B looks like the best answer. The behavior of buyers and sellers will automatically guide the market toward the equilibrium price and quantity. This is that nature of markets where price will always gravitate towards equilibrium. Number 8, the effect of an increase in consumer income on equilibrium price and quantity of Florida orange juice, a normal good. All right, for these questions, kind of the more commonly missed ones, I want you to use the supply and demand model. This is going to be very helpful as you try to navigate these. So it says the effect of an increase in consumer income on equilibrium price and quantity. So we come down here. Let's just say this is for OJ. What's going to happen? What's going to happen if we have an increase in income? We know income is a shifter of demand, or at least we should know. So we're going to see demand curve shift to the right. So we can see demand curve shifts to the right, and we have a new equilibrium where price is higher and quantity is higher. Both have increased. So you come here and read our options. To increase equilibrium price and quantity, that would be D. So if you map that out, you're going to be able to see that income increases, demand shifts to the right, gives us new equilibrium here with a higher price and higher quantity. Number 9, which of the following would cause both the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of cookies to decrease? All right, which of the following would cause both the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of cookies to decrease? All right, again, you can use the model. All right, there's supply, there's demand. And I forgot, both to decrease. Okay. Yeah, both quantity of cookies decrease. So we got here a rise in the price of milk is a complement. All right, what would happen? What would happen in the market for cookies? There's a rise in the price of milk. Price related good. Milk gets more expensive. Consume them together. Demand would shift to the left. So we shift that demand curve. I see price going down. I see quantity going down. That could be it. Which of the following causes both equilibrium price and quantity to decrease? I like it. We'll start with that one. A rise in consumer incomes. Well, we know that would shift the demand curve to the right. And we saw that over here. That would raise both. Not going to work. A rise in the price of cookie dough. That's going to shift the supply curve, right? Because cookie dough is an input to cookies. So that one would shift the supply curve to the left. And let's do that quick over here. Supply goes left. We can see that's going to raise price. It would decrease quantity, but it's going to raise price, so that's not going to work. A drop in the price of cookie dough. Remember, changing the price of cookie dough, not going to shift the curve. So it's got to be A. 10. What is the effect of a reduction in the price of steel on equilibrium price and quantity of automobiles? All right, important here, steel. okay, is a input, is a resource used to make automobiles. So what's going to happen in the market for autos? Let's go here again. There's supply, there's demand, there's our equilibrium, price, quantity, autos, steel. More expensive? Yes, reduction in the price of steel. Now cheaper. Cheaper inputs means we see supply shift to the right. It's now cheaper. Going to lower price, increase quantity, right? Lower price, increase quantity. There's our new equilibrium right there. So what is the effect? Equilibrium price will rise? Nope. Nope. Equilibrium price will fall, quantity will rise. C's got to be the right answer. Remember, if you use this, use the model. It really helps with these questions. Number 11, you guys did a nice job. I think everybody got this one right. It says in the market for chewing gum, the current price is 50 cents per pack and 100,000 packs are sold. All right, let's use that real quick. So there's our price, 50 cents, and let's say 100,000. So here's our 50 cents, 100K. Which of the following events would lead to a new equilibrium price of 60 cents and a quantity of 90,000? So we got a price going up, price is increasing. Price is increasing, quantity is going back. So that would have to be a supply shift to the left, right? Would raise our price to 60 cents and decrease our quantity to 90. So which of these would shift supply to the left? A decrease in the number of young people in the population, that's going to be market shifter. Increase in the price of ingredients, there we go, there's an input. Cost, that is going to be the answer. Letter B, because that has to do with supply shifter. This is demand. An agreement by workers and unions to work for lower wages, make it cheaper. That would shift supply to the right. It's got to be B. And last, a decrease in the supply of chocolate chips would usually result in A decrease in the supply of chocolate chips. Alright, use your supply, demand. So we got supply shifting to the left. Oops. Sorry. Here's our market, chocolate chips. Supply shifting to the left. We know price is increasing, quantity is decreasing. A higher equilibrium price and higher quantity, nope, it's going to be lower. Higher equilibrium price and lower equilibrium quantity. It's got to be B. Alright, hope that helps. Got a few others for you to check out, but hope that makes sense. Make sure to use that supply and demand model on these.